I don't know? You think you're fooling me, Eden? You're lying. Doesn't it make you sick what you're doing? First you try to kill your own father, and then you try to cover it up. I can't even look at you anymore.
My God, he's right. He's right about everything.
You can have this back, Castillo.
Is that the progress report on the Capitol investigation?
That is what I wanted, but there's no progress. Where is it?
I'm working as fast as I can, Tony. It's a complicated case.
Is it?
Dead ends all over the place.
A lot of suspects all over the place, too. Is it a problem for you that they're all Capwells? You're supposed to be marrying the older daughter, aren't you?
No.
Well, where did I get that idea?
It used to be the truth.
Uh-huh. Well, let me tell you something. There was something in here that I think needs following up very carefully. The fact that someone who matches her description was seen leaving the room through the window.
There's conflicting evidence.
Now, I just want to say that I have some doubts about your objectivity.
All right, look, before you get on a big roll here, let me show you something. This just came in a few hours ago. It's a sworn statement from an eyewitness who saw Eden Capwell entering the residence of one Kirk Cranston at 9:45 p.m. that night. So there's no way she could have been at the Capwell house at the time of the crime. It appears to be pretty conclusive, wouldn't you say?
It appears to be good news for your ex-girlfriend, but I'm not sure it's progress unless you tell me who your other suspects are.
Well, I'm not ready to name anyone just yet. Like I say, that statement just came in.
Well, you weren't working on any other leads, checking out other possibilities in the meantime?
Sure I was. I just don't have anything we can take to the bank yet.
Hey, Cruzerine. I'm sorry. Didn't know you had company.
Yeah, this is District Attorney Tony Patterson. We're talking about the Capwell investigation.
Hi, I'm the landlord, Jim Sherman. I rent the dock space to Mr. Castile. You got my check?
Listen, as soon as we're done here, I'll cover you, Jim.
That's all right. That's all right. I got to get back to the office anyway. Let me be brief. Cruz, if I don't get a list of suspects soon, you're off this assignment and Crowley is on.
Now, wait a second, Tony. Why Crowley?
To begin with, he's never been engaged to one of the Capwells. Now, you want to stay on this case? You get something for me that I can work with. Get off your butt. Nice meeting you.
Likewise, sir. Sweetheart.
Yeah.
Is he for real?
Taking me off the case? You bet he is.
Well, he can't do that.
He can do it. He's the DA.
Well, then we got to come up with some suspects for you here.
No, we don't have to come up with anything, Pearl. This is my party, remember?
Hey, I crashed your party when I signed that sworn statement. You need me now, buddy boy.
Wrong. You have done your bit.
How'd you like the landlord routine, huh? Pretty good?
Brilliant.
Well, what the heck should I have said? Hey, I'm a personal friend of Cruz's. I also happen to be the same guy who signed that statement on Eden Capwell. No coincidence. Would that have been better?
Give me a break, will you, man? I got work to do. Okay?
Listen, you should at least be glad that I sized up the situation so quickly.
Thanks.
Cheer up.
What is to be cheerful about, man? I'm piling one lie on top of another. I'm sorry, but that's not the way I'm used to operating. It's not what gives me my kicks.
Right. Must be real tough to rejoin the human race after so many years as a saint, huh?
All right, let's get something straight. Just because you wormed your way into this case does not make you my partner, nor are you my shrink. You're walking a real fine line here, and it's getting finer by the second.
Well, isn't that a coincidence? Because so are you, Cruz. So are you. Going up to see Dad?
What's it to you?
I'm sure he'd want to congratulate you if he could. Allow me to speak on his behalf.
Mason, save your breath.
Oh, touchy. I would have thought that you'd be delirious, Eden. I mean, a innocent bystander appears out of the blue and swears that he was halfway across town and saw you at the very moment Dad's machines were tampered with. What a lucky break.
I knew you'd take it that way. I knew you'd try to shoot down everything the minute I told you, and I was prepared for it.
Eden, I'm not trying to shoot anything down. I knew that you weren't capable of doing Dad in. Not that you didn't give it serious consideration, but in the end, I knew that the intestinal fortitude was decidedly lacking.
Would you please let me by?
Well, why are you in such a rush? Now that the finger of suspicion has been pointed away from you, you're free to help me. I could really use your input. Eden, am I to believe that you don't have any of your own ideas? Any suspicions about who the culprit might be? Now, I can't believe that. Don't you want to see that person caught?
That's up to the police, Mason.
You mean Cruz?
Yes.
Speaking of whom, he seems about as happy as you do these days. One could almost believe that the romance of the century had officially reached the end of its road. But no engagement, no wedding, no nothing.
Mason, I know that you'd like to twist the knife a little further, but I would just like to go up and see my father, please.
Eden, I'm sorry. No, honestly, I've always felt that you and Cruz were one of those magical combinations that was meant to be. I prayed to be as lucky myself. I was really hoping that you two would work things out the way you always did. I guess there are some things even the strongest relationships can't overcome.
I suppose there are.
Have to say, I don't think it helped for you to get involved with Cranston, though.
I am not involved with Kirk. It's nothing of the kind.
He is.
Damn it, Mason, you don't know Kirk. You don't know a thing about it, so just shut your mouth about something like that, please.
I know one thing, Eden. You're not in control of your life these days. Does it really make sense for you to blame the events of the last few days on me?
When the events that have happened, you've tried to take advantage of? It's all very clear, Mason. Why'd you have to be so obvious? Mason Capwell, ambulance chaser, sniffing around the scene of an accident in case the victim is weak enough so you can take advantage of her. You have seen this whole tragedy in one single, selfish, overwhelming concern, your long-awaited takeover of the company.
It's not true.
You would be perfectly happy, Mason, to send me off to prison because you get your rightful place in the company. But now that that possibility has evaporated, you're back to making me feel like I'm incompetent? Well, that's not gonna work, because I'm gonna continue to work at this company and make it work, and nothing you do is gonna stop me.
You're not the one making it work, Eden. Kirk Cranston is, and I don't know how you can trust him.
Who am I supposed to trust, Mason? My brother? My brother who would send me off to prison without a second thought?
All I've ever wanted is what's best
All you've
for
ever
the...
wanted is what's best for you. That's all you've ever cared about.
Eden.
The hell with you. You can go to hell if they'll have you.
Okay, Eden. Go ahead, keep proving my point. Well, Cruz.
Mason?
Too bad you weren't here a few seconds ago. She was in rare form.
Eden?
I hope you're not averse to the sound of her name, considering the unfortunate turn of events.
I don't have time for this.
Cruz, I'm trying to be sensitive. The old song says, I know breaking up is hard to do.
Yeah, I'm here to continue the investigation. I left this number. If anybody calls, I'll be upstairs.
Eden's upstairs now.
So?
Just thought you might want to reschedule, that's all.
Mason, I have a job to do. And I wouldn't be able to do it if I spent my time trying to avoid your sister, now would I?
Well, I applaud your dedication, Cruz, but will you allow me that it's much easier to do your job now that Eden's been cleared?
Not necessarily.
Come now, I know you're wounded, but surely you weren't looking forward to the prospect of carting her off in handcuffs.
No, but you were looking forward to seeing it, I'm sure. You must be very disappointed.
No, not disappointed, just puzzled.
About what?
Well, for someone who's been granted a reprieve, Eden doesn't seem very happy. In fact, she seems worse off than before. I can't help wondering why that is.
It was such a little thing. When they let me change these sheets, I realized it was the very first kind thing I've been allowed to do for you in months. Actually, it was the first thing that I'd done that I actually felt like I was taking care of you a little bit. You know, Daddy, I can sit here and I can hold your hand and I can talk to you. But it made me feel like I really haven't done anything. And I felt like I wanted to do something more active or something, I don't know. Wish you could see these hospital corners. I don't think they'd pass inspection with the Army, but I was kind of impressed with them. You know, I can just hear what you're thinking right now. She never made a bed in her life. I remember when we were little and you used to tell us that we shouldn't depend on Rosa for everything and that our responsibilities were our rooms. And mine was a disaster. I mean, there was this peanut butter jelly sandwich that took on a life of its own underneath my bed, and clothes that were sort of draped everywhere with ballet slippers sticking in and out of all the dresser drawers. But my bed was always made. It was my one concession to neatness, and I was fanatical about it. I'm sure that you would be laughing right now about Eden in a messy room. And I would give anything to hear it. You have the greatest laugh. Your laugh could melt the South Pole, I used to tell you. I refuse to think that I'm not going to hear it anymore. That's what I'm living for. To hear it again.
She didn't do it. She couldn't have.
Wait until you see what I brought you.
What the hell are you doing here?
Yeah, I wasn't trespassing. I was just going to drop these little things off and take off, sort of like Santa Claus.
Yeah, well, I don't have a chimney. How'd you get in?
You got cheap locks, Castile. A 10-year-old with a bobby pin could pick these things.
You're gonna have to get out of here, man. I got work to do.
Hey, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Guess how many oysters I got in here?
Would you bring those oysters for me?
Well, you look like you need a little bit of a lift.
Hey, well, that was semi-decent of you, man. But to say the truth, I don't. I just got lifted.
What happened?
She didn't do it, Pearl. Eden did not try to kill her father.
How do you figure this?
Because I was there, I saw her. She was by his bed. She didn't know I was around, man. She was talking to him. And the way she was talking to him, you could just tell. She loves the man, and she wants him back again. That's what she wants more than anything in the world, man. It's obvious. There's no way she could have pulled the plug.
You're forgetting one thing.
What's that?
She was sober today. She was thinking a lot clearer than she was thinking on the night that it happened.
No, man. No one's going to tell me that Eden could ever get drunk enough to want to end that man's life.
Look, buddy, come on. I know where you're coming from. I'd do the same thing if it was my ex. I'd remember all the good times. I'd get all soft. But you have evidence, Castillo, tons of it. Says it's got to be her.
Make you a deal. Don't tell me how to run a murder investigation. I won't tell you what to do with your clams.
Hey, great. You can look around for somebody else. But we both know who did it.
No, there are other possibilities, man. I just scratched the surface. I'm going to start checking them out. I'm going to follow through on all of them.
Yeah, well, so what happens if you find this new evidence and it all points back to her?
Ain't going to happen, man. I mean, I'm going to bet my life. Eden is innocent. I got a premonition. I got a feeling. It's over me.
Okay. So who are you going to go after?
You want the whole list?
Sure, why not? They ain't my friends.
Okay, this is in no particular order. But first off, Mason comes to mind. I mean, he was the oldest son. He and his father have been beefing all their life. He got thrown out of the house every other month, and I've heard him say on more than one occasion that he doesn't care if the old man lives or dies.
Do you think he did it?
Well, we'll have to see about that. And you've got Gina. Okay, Gina and Mason have been going through some heavy breathing exercises around the time that CZ had his stroke. She's not exactly what you'd call a devoted wife.
Mm-hmm. The wife routine. Huh?
The wife routine. You got the ex-wife. You got Sophia. She was there when Cece asked Eden to take him off the machines if it ever came to this. And who's to say she didn't decide she should do it because Eden couldn't do it?
I didn't know we had so many jokers with a good reason to deep six his character.
Oh, man, that ain't even the half of it. I mean, the guy, you got Lionel Lockridge, you know him. There's a woman named Santana Andrade with a beef. You know, like any powerful man, he's not at a loss for enemies.
But not every one of them was there when the lights went out, my friend. Suppose all of them have good alibis.
Actually, all of them seem to have good alibis. But you know about those, Pearl, they can be faked. Sometimes you're digging and you turn up a hole.
Yeah, like Eden's alibi. That one's got more holes than the Pittsburgh infield. The truth does hurt, man. The truth does hurt.
So what if it happened like this? Eden went upstairs to be with her father, but passed out by his bed. What if Gina came in, saw Eden lying there, and realized it was the perfect opportunity? She decided right then and there to pull the plug. She used her dress to make sure there'd be no fingerprints. The alarm went off. She headed for the door, but froze at the thought of being seen leaving the room, turned and went out the window instead. Yeah. Eden came to, jolted by the alarm, tried to figure out what was going on, probably thought that she'd done it, panicked, and followed Gina out the window. But not in time to see Gina. There's no reason it couldn't have happened that way. Maybe it was Gina. If only you could tell me, Mr. C. We both know who had the most at stake. A blonde woman, a pink dress. No. Eden was here. She had to be. She believes she did it. Pearl heard her say so. She might even remember coming upstairs to the room. But then... And then the alarm.
Is he still here?
Yeah, he's up in Daddy's room.
What does he want this time?
I don't know.
Excuse me, is Gina around?
No, as a matter of fact, she's in Paris.
Paris? That's kind of sudden. Why?
Well, when Gina leaves, I don't ask questions.
Are you about ready to head back to that meeting now, Eden?
What?
It's almost 5.
Oh, yeah. Did you need something?
If it's not too much trouble, I'd like to know where she's staying in Paris.
At the Ritz, I think. Daddy always stayed at the Saint Germain, but,
We really don't want to keep them waiting any longer, Eden.
all right. You can stay as long as you need to.
Thank you.
Bye.
Operator, I'm looking for a number overseas. Yeah, the Ritz Hotel in Paris, France.
Cruz, I have to make an urgent call. Do you mind?
Do you know what time it is here? It's the middle of the night.
Oh, I'm sorry to wake you up, Gina.
Well, nothing's happened to Cece, I hope.
No, but something's come up and I need to talk to you again about the night someone tried to kill him.
What do you mean? Have you arrested someone?
Not yet. Now, you told me that you and Brandon were staying at the Capitol Hotel that night.
Well, that's right.
Did you leave your suite at any time for any reason?
And leave my little boy alone? Well, of course not.
Well, that's funny. I have a witness who saw you leaving.
Well, of course I left the hotel suite. You saw me yourself. But it was just for a few minutes. I was upstairs to the party, remember? You're not accusing me of something, are you?
Then after the party, you went straight back to your room, I suppose.
Well, yes. You can ask Brandon if you want. I'm going to bed now.
Hey, Brandon, look who's here.
Hi, Brandon. Yeah, how you doing, man? Let's sit down. I want to talk to you for a second, man. So, Rosa tells me you're having a lot of fun over here while your mama's away.
I sure am. Lionel lets me do anything.
What? What? Come, I am very strict. You know that.
Bet he is, huh? Listen, man, I need to ask you a question. Do you remember when you and your mother stayed overnight down at the hotel?
Yeah?
Uh-huh. What time did you go to bed that night?
Bed or to sleep?
Well, let's see. Your mother went out to that party, right?
Yeah. And I fell asleep watching TV. But then Mom came back and she made me go to bed.
And what time was that?
9:45. We had our own clock there.
And then your mother went out again, right?
Nope.
Are you sure?
Yep.
How do you know?
Because I heard her. She woke me up one time trying on some of her dresses.
And what time was it then, do you know?
10:12. I already told Mason that. How come nobody thinks I can tell time?
No, it isn't you, man. It isn't you. Thanks. Good talking to you, and I'll see you around.
Okay.
Thank you.
Was that about what happened to Cece?
Oh, I'm sorry, Lionel, that's confidential.
You don't suspect Gina?
Well, the boy sounded pretty sure, didn't he? See you.
I know he's a very good doctor. I just wonder if maybe we shouldn't get somebody else.
Eden, you can have a different doctor every day, and I doubt very much that one would tell you something different from the other.
Kirk, do you think Daddy knows,
Knows what?
on some level, what I did to him?
Oh, Eden, you have no reason to feel any guilt.
You can't really believe that.
Yes, I do, and the sooner you believe it, too, the better. You were honoring an agreement with your father, and as far as anybody else is concerned, that signed statement clears you completely.
You don't really think that anybody's going to be convinced because of that?
Well, why not? Look, there are half a dozen people or more with the same motive or opportunity to do it.
But they didn't. I did.
Well, if we're really going to get down to that, I mean, are we really so positive?
What do you mean?
Well, you don't remember it all. And I didn't actually see what happened.
Kirk, I was lying there unconscious with the plug in my hand. Look, I appreciate what you're trying to do for me.
How about a little wine? What do you say? From the Cranston Kachuma Winery. My first year, first harvest. A lot of firsts. Want to celebrate with me? Eden, come on, let's just forget about that for a moment. You know, it tastes better if you actually drink a little bit of it.
I can't, I'm sorry.
Why?
Because I made a promise that I would never drink again.
It's pretty good.
I know it must be hard to deal with me.
No, not for me.
You know, it's hard for me to understand you sometimes. I don't really know how to react. I mean, I worry a lot, and I feel sorry for myself, and I'm upset a lot, and you You always seem to find something nice to say.
Well, I never used to be nice. Maybe I've just been saving it all up. Eden, I love you.
You don't love me, Kirk.
Believe me, anything that difficult to say has got to be true. You know, I have the feeling now that I've just done something that is going to change the rest of my life. Do I want that? Okay, I want it. As long as I'm changing things. You want me to change a couple things for you, too?
Kirk, I have feelings for you, but I don't really think that any of them...
Wait a minute. I think I've changed my mind. I don't want you to say anything just yet.
Cranston would be in real solid business-wise if Cece didn't make it. And real solid with Eden, too.
Yeah, he plays like he's covering for her. But maybe he knows she didn't do it. Maybe because he did it himself. Maybe. Yeah, but could she have gotten out of that window alone in the condition she was in?
Who is it?
It's Kirk. I won't stay long. Wow, that is some moon out there, huh?
Yeah, I know.
You don't have to say anything at all right now, Eden. Just don't stop me, all right? I love you. I've said that, I know, but I like hearing myself say it now. It's been such a long time that I've wanted to. And I have a feeling it's always going to be that way with me. What I want, what I'm asking, no, not asking, just hoping, is that you'll always want to be with me too, in whatever way. Because the one thing I do know for sure about the future, Eden, is that I want you there. It's all right. It isn't a question I'm asking you. You don't love me, but you feel something for me. I don't expect you to feel the same thing. What I feel is pretty astounding all by itself. said I wouldn't stay long.